Hi, my name's Stacey and I'm going to talk to you today about spells and witchcraft. Um, about 2 years ago, I had a bit of a spiritual awakening. My dad passed away and I was devastated, and I just needed to know that he was okay. So I went to see a friend of mine who's a medium and clairvoyant, and essentially a witch. And she connected with my grandfather and my dad. And through that conversation, I was talking to them about work. And basically, they told me that this was the work I was supposed to be doing, and that I had all these abilities and it was time to tap into them and to learn what I could do. So from that day forth, I kind of had my spiritual awakening, and I have stepped into the spiritual realm and realized that I am a witch, and I have many great powers, and spells being one of them. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit today about witchcraft and spells. And let's start off with, do you know what a spell is? Well, a spell is a series of words that are written or said that is composed from an incantation that holds magical intention. It can be a wish, a desire that is filled with great intent, huge belief, and hold amazing energy. So when you do a spell, it's about thinking about that intention, holding it in your heart, holding it in your thoughts, and then amplifying it with the spell and with all the ingredients that you use. Spells can be done in many ways. For me, I like to use different ingredients for my spells. Yes, ingredients you find in the kitchen, and some of my ingredients I do definitely take from the kitchen. I have a cauldron that I burn my herbs in on a piece of charcoal, and I find things in there like rosemary, which is used for protection, cinnamon. I add cinnamon to all my cooking, and cinnamon provides love, lust, healing, and success. We all need some of that. Chamomile, which you find in teas quite often. Most people have those in their pantries. It offers sleep, money, and purification. Turmeric, that calls in money and spiritual energy. And ginger, that just packs a punch with personal power and healing. So even when you're cooking with these herbs and spices, you're actually doing more than just cooking, because you're putting it into your food. So even when you put it into your food, you can think about what it can how it can amplify your food, and even pray on it. When I do my spells, I like to use representative items in my spells. So I use bells, which calls in happiness and laughter. Shells, I'm also very connected to the beach and to water. So shells are very important in my spells, but they also provide shelter. So when you're thinking about shells, the shelter that they can give you. Pearls to call in wealth, because pearls are plush and they're beautiful, and they something that when I think of pearls, it's wealth. And the list goes on. I also like to use candles. Each candle color means something. So red is used for romance, love, passion, sexuality, vitality. I often, when my boyfriend's here, I'll put on a red candle. And even when we first started dating, I had the red candle just to, bring that love in and that passion. If you use a pink candle's more for self-love, whereas red's for romantic love. Black candles are used for protection, dispels negativity and drives away spirits. Blue is calming and clearing. So sometimes when you've had a bad day, if you just get out a blue candle, burn some clary sage, that will just help calm you. And if you want it, when you add it into a spell, it just adds another layer. Green is for new beginnings, money, work, study, and business. And I often, when I am studying and I'm finding it hard sometimes to concentrate, I'll put on a green spell, and that just helps me focus and get in the mood. And the green just helps to guide me a little bit more with my studying. I always use different oils depending on what the spell is, and flowers. And if I use flowers, I try and use fresh flowers from gardens, from florists. Yeah. So with herbs as well, the fresher they are, almost the better they are. So if you're growing any herbs, use them. Even sometimes I go for a walk around my area and I'll see lavender or I'll see some rosemary, and I just pick it and take it back and put it onto my spells. As I make spells, I place them into either a mojo bag. A mojo bag is something that comes from voodoo magic back in New Orleans in the 1700s. It's essentially like a spell in a bag. Or if I don't have a mojo bag, I'll use a witch's jar, which you can just get from the $2 shop. It's just a small jar, and you put all the ingredients in there, and you either tie it with a color that is the same as your candle, or you can put wax around it from the candle that you're using to seal it. And then they either go under your bed, next to your bed, in your pillow, in your bag, just depending what the spell is. Some spells actually get called to put into the ground so that Gaia can help you just really amplify that spell. I also use feathers. When I'm doing spells, I normally put the mojo bag or the jar with a feather through the spell, through the candle, and that also helps to amplify it while saying incantations. If you see feathers on the ground, it's no coincidence. Always pick them up, because it's either a sign from your spirit guides, your angels, and I like to always put them with my spells or on my altar. So where does witchcraft come from? Witchcraft is a practice of magical skills, spells, and ability that define witches who use supernatural means. In ancient times, witches were known as the craft of the wise. I like that, because we are wise. We come with years and lifetimes of knowledge. People who follow the path of nature and who had a strong knowledge of herbs and medicine and had a great knowledge of life. The documentation of witches goes back to the 5th century and generally recognized in Anglo-Saxon and paganism era. But I've been doing a lot of research at the moment on aliens and the alien lives and before that, and witchcraft goes back all the way to then. We were just known as different things: healers, medicine women, you name it. If it was something to do with helping people, doctors, things like that, we were witches essentially back then, because people just didn't understand what they were at the time. In the modern era, witches started to become quite misunderstood and thought to be evil and blamed for anything that may have gone wrong and that was unexplainable, like when there were floods, crops failed, famine and disease. Witches were blamed for it. They would just look at somebody and say, "You're a witch, it's your fault." Soon witchcraft became illegal, and they began to prosecute all people who were thought to be witches. They would think you were a witch if you were elderly and not married, if you weren't Christian, if you were female, if you weren't Caucasian, if you were LGBTQ, if you had a birthmark, and the list goes on. By 1572, witches started to be tortured, abused, and beaten in the streets, and eventually hung or killed through burning or hanging. I was beaten and I was hung as a witch many, many lifetimes ago. The church was also a big influence on the negative connotation towards witches. In 1572, witches began to be killed. There were between 40 and 60,000 witches killed in Europe. In Massachusetts, the Salem witch trials started, and they began between 1692 and 1693, where a series of hearings and prosecutions happened. More than 200 people were accused of being witches. 30 were found guilty, and 19 were executed by hanging. Today, witches are not feared, and witchcraft is more accepted. A true witch is a natural witch. They have an inner knowing of self, which releases certain powers and evokes these powers into her life and accepts the forces of nature. A witch is born, she is not made, and it's taken a while for me to be proud to call myself a witch and to tell people I'm a witch. For a while there, I was a bit embarrassed to say that I was a witch, and I wasn't sure what people would say. But now I'm really proud to be a witch, and all the power and all the history that I'm carrying with me from my ancestors. Spells can be used for anything, really anything. I believe that it's important to do a spell for yourself, not for anybody else. Spells should only be used for good. If you use spells for black magic, it's inviting shadows into your life and energies that we don't know about. Once those energies come into your life, it's a lot harder for them to leave. So do a spell for yourself. If it's about releasing somebody or cutting the cord, do it from you, not from them, because we all have free will and we should just do what feels right for us. And if that other person wants a spell, then they need to do it on their own. So a spell should always be about you and for you. Yeah, there are spells for everything, like I said before, for love, for empowerment, releasing things, beliefs in your life that no longer serve you, cutting the cord, money, good luck, success in business, Gaia, self-worth, protection, healing, new moon, full moon, and the list just goes on and on. So finding the spell that you need, well, I kind of feel like spells find you. When it's the right time, that spell will come along. Spells can be long and complicated or short and simple. I use both. Some of the spells that I use have been given to me, and I've just, over the last few months, started to channel my own spells, which is really exciting, to be able to sit down and go, okay, empowerment, and what do I need for it, and sit with it. And then the spells from my ancestors just come to me, which is something that I really enjoy doing. Here's a quick spell that you might want to try. It's for good luck. It's just a simple one. All you need is chamomile oil, jade crystal, and mint herbs with a green candle and a green mojo bag. If you don't have a mojo bag, you can again use just a simple jar. And all you do is you combine the ingredients into the mojo bag. You tie it 3 times in a knot once it's finished, once you've placed everything in the mojo bag. You then light a green candle and you run it through the green candle, saying the power, I now have good luck. I always bring good luck into my life. And just sit with the intention of good luck. I am worthy of good luck. I have good luck. And think about what good luck feels like for you. Just a simple little one. And when you're finished, you can put it next to your bed or carry it in your bag or put it on your altar, whatever feels most comfortable for you. What you should do when you do spells. The very first thing to do when you're doing a spell is to cleanse your space. Wherever you're doing your spell, you should cleanse your space with sage. Just give it a good saging, and then once it feels nice and clear, you can sit down and start your meditation to get into the power. I also like to have things that are special to me when I'm doing a spell. So my grandfather and my dad, I always have a picture of them. I also have my dad's watch. For me, those are things that bring in my power, and I know that I have always had them around them. So if there's something special to you, you can place that on your altar when you're doing your spell. To step into your power, you sit down and do a meditation. Breathing in and calling in all your senses, seeing, hearing, smelling, touching, whatever works best for you, you bring that in, sit with it, and when you feel that you have connected, then it's time for you to start your spell. I also like to burn some incense. Depending on what the spell is, I will intuitively choose an incense that I feel works with that spell. And if you're not sure, always you can just go to like Palo Santo. I feel like that's really a great, easy one for spell work. Before you start doing your spell, it's very important to set your intention. So if you're doing this spell for good luck, it's to sit and think about what good luck feels like for you. When you have good luck, what does life look like? What does it feel like? And just picture that and set that intention in your mind's eye, what good luck is, and really feel it. Once you've done that, it's about stepping into your personal power and calling in help for each spell. So once I've set everything up, I then take a minute and I call in my spirit team, my angels, my ancestors, gods and goddesses, and even past witches. There are a lot of past wonderful witches, and they're all around to help with your spells. So depending on what you need, some spells it says to call in Witch Hecate. Some spells just use your intention to do it. I feel like a lot of it is intention, your intuition. We all have amazing intuition. We just need to use it. Sometimes we forget it's there. So once you've called them all in and you can feel them around you, then you can start your spell. But you must do it with passion. You must, spell work is fun. It's serious, it can be serious, but it's fun. It's calling in all these wonderful things that we have with us, all these powers we have with us. So use your passion for it. I feel like that's really important, to be passionate about the spells. And these spells are for you. So you calling it good luck, use the passion of good luck. Like, how will it change your life to have luck? Once you've done your spell, sit with it. Don't jump up and go, okay, it's done. Let the candle always burn out if you can, depending on what this spell says. I know some spells you do it for 5 days. So you do your incantation with the spell, and then once that's done, you blow it out and you do it for the next 5 days. So sit with it, read what the instructions are, because most spells come with instructions. And then if you feel called to, journal. Some people like to journal. Some people just like to think. I'm more a thinker than a journaler. Just do what feels right for you. Everybody's different. Once it's all done, we want to come back into this space, into this world, to the 3D world. So I like to get up and dance. I put on my favorite songs and I just dance around. You can even pat your body just to bring you back and make sure that you're back into this world. A little bit on protecting your house. There's quite a few ways to protect your house. One of the easiest ones is to just sage your house. I sage my house either once a month, or if I feel like things are a bit hazy in my life, or I feel a bit off balance, I'll sage my house. After I've done a reading or spell work, I always sage my house just to make sure. To sage your house, you just need a sage smudge stick. You start from your front door and you walk clockwise around the house. Make sure when you're saging your house, you go behind things, into corners. Energies like to get trapped behind things. Make sure every window and door is open, so any negative energy or any energies that can be trapped in your house can have an exit point. As you're walking around the house, I always say, any energies that do not belong to me and do not serve me for my highest good, please leave. Also, it's really important to look at the color of your sage smoke. If it's black, it means there might be a trapped energy. So keep going over that spot a few times. As soon as it turns white, you know you've cleared the energy. It can take a few minutes. If it's taking longer, you can always go and sage the rest of the house and come back to that spot. I've done that a few times. Another really simple way of protecting your house is to put a rosemary bush out the front. Rosemary is a very strong protector, and it wards off any negative energies and any evil. So yeah, just you can make a small rosemary bush, even though they tend to expand and grow really fast. A rosemary bush is a great little thing you can put either at the front of your house or the back of your house. Black salt. It's not so easy to come by, but if you can find some black salt, you can put it either around the perimeter of your house, around your front door, even on top of your door frame, under windows. Black salt we use because it's the color black is for the color of night, and it's also the color you see inside the womb and under the earth. It is the protection that defends danger to the world and lets growth and development happen. Black salt involves a deep sense of protection and safety as a protective magical tool. It is also the color that hides us from sight of spirit and that is linked to chaos. So black salt will really take away anything negative from your being. I use black salt in spells for cutting cords and for releasing things. Another great thing to do is a crystal grid. A crystal grid is a special arrangements of crystals and stones used to place for intention, like protection. I have placed 4 black crystals in my room because at night things used to come and wake me up and tap me on the head or the shoulder, and I just needed to sleep. So by asking them to go wasn't enough, so I placed crystals on each corner of my room and just set a little intention, an incantation to say, please protect me from anything and do not let anything in at night unless I have said it's okay. I use black crystals because they, for me, were the best ones for protection. But use your intuition when you go to a crystal shop. See what ones you can find for protection and what you feel called to. Another way to protect your house is with oils. I've rubbed oils around my front door frame and my bedroom door frame. Myrrh and ginger are good ones, but frankincense is really great. Frankincense can lift spiritual vibrations and drive away any negativity. It is said to bring anyone who uses it the power of positive attraction. So by rubbing it on your door frame, it will only attract positive energy and vibrations. You can also burn frankincense and myrrh in your house, just on a piece of charcoal. And you can either get those from crystal shops or magical shops. Even Greek shops have just the resin, the frankincense resin and the myrrh resin, because it's used in churches. Another great one I use for protection is calling on my ancestors and my spirit team. I tend to call on them to place warriors and guards in front of my door. I do that at my front door, and when things are slipping into my room and I really can't sleep, I'll ask them to place them at front of my door. Also, my grandfather, who I'm very connected to, has passed over. I'll ask him even sometimes to come in and protect me. The last thing that you can do is a talisman at your front door. And a talisman is an object that has magical signs that is believed to hold magical protective power. Almost all religions have a talisman. There is Magen David or Star and David, the Hamsa, the Evil Eye, Tree of Life, a cross, scarab beetle, Buddha, a mandala, and Om. It is something that feels like protection for you. So it's something that you can resonate with. You just have to find the right thing. And if you place it on your front door, again, with it setting the intention to protect your house, that's a great one. So there are many forms of protection. You just have to see what sits right with you, sit in your intuition, sit in your gut and listen to that and see what feels the best thing for you. That's all I have to talk about today with spells and witchcraft. Please, 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 if you've got any questions, just reach out. You can find me on Instagram at Magical Soul Connection. Thank you so much and enjoy the rest of the summit and have a magical day.